Sometimes I think to myself, what if I wasn't just starting out at life now? What if, as a child, I had grown up in a stable environment where there was no sexual abuse and enough food to eat, and at least one person that was consistently in my life that cared about me? Yeah, I think, what if I had a support network? What if I had been able to stay in one school for more than 1 year and built friendships? What if I had been able to trust my caregiver? What if I could have rested after any one of the many traumas? As a middle-aged woman, I am realizing that there's never been a time in my life when I wasn't just surviving. And now I'm starting to see that there are some good things about me, things I can do, things God gifted me in. And on one side, it is such a good news to find out that I'm not all bad, that I'm someone deserving of respect and kindness and honesty and loyalty. I am only now recognizing that, and it's a beautiful experience. But you know what else it is? It's very painful because I think, wow, what if I had gotten my basic needs met as a child? What if I had had an opportunity to finish school and to explore my interest and my strengths in some academic setting instead of just surviving one horrific event after another? I'm realizing late in life that when people have a support network, when they have somewhere to go, when trauma happens, somewhere they can rest and process the grief, they come back very quickly and they get back to life. Even after catastrophic loss. And I heard this quote by Jordan Peterson, and he said, "Trauma is not the result of bad things happening. Bad things happen all the time. But you're traumatized when you walk through it alone." He also says that, trauma comes from being face to face with true malevolence, that will change you to come face to face with a truly evil person. What if that person was your parent? What if they never really changed? And in contrast, what kind of healthy communication skills and conflict resolution and attachment style could I have had if that had not been the case? So, yeah. Right now I'm drowning in what ifs. And although I go to sleep at night in a warm bed and I have enough food to eat and I'm not being abused where I live right now, all the memories, all the stuff across a lifetime has come back to the forefront of my mind, and I'm having to work through it. And some days I think I am having a great day, and then I'm doing dishes at the sink and I'm suddenly caught up in some memory and I get stuck and I end up just sitting down and thinking about all the different parts of whatever has come to the surface, how I felt about it then, what all was unfolding at the same time, because in looking back, I am just in awe of God. Because there was all these things happening at the same time. And looking back, I am just shocked. And I know that there's not any way possible that any human being comes through that without the hand of God on them and the comfort of the Holy Spirit surrounding them and warrior angels protecting them. I mean, I have built a faith across the most difficult of circumstances that is the kind of faith that moves mountains, that believes mountains can be moved, that believes in miracles because they've had to have one over and over, needed a miracle multiple times in any given month and seen God come through. So, what if I had birthdays and friends and all these privileges? Would I have clung on to God with every ounce of strength and every bit of my broken, contrite, humbled heart? Like, would I have built the relationship I have with God today had it not been for the suffering? And would I be even a good person? I know even from struggling through all of these difficulties that I can be judgmental, that I can feel condescending towards people. I work hard not to, exhibit those behaviors, but sometimes it's in my heart. Sometimes it's in there and I'm feeling it. So, through all this purging and crushing across the decades, I have been humbled in such a way that I can be good at certain things. I can have the kind of talents and blessings and abilities that God bestowed upon me and still not give in to those, feelings of being condescending towards people or being judgmental towards people. Because I'm telling you, it's in there. It's in there, but it only takes me a fraction of a moment to go, what am I thinking? What am I? Who am I to judge, first of all? And I am only here by the abundant grace of God. I've been riding on God's good humor and fully dependent on his power my whole life. So you know what? My answer to what if is that, I could have probably built what the world would call success. I could have probably built an empire with lots of important friends on my speed dial and brunch at the country club and investments in 401k and long-term healthy relationships that built up a network of support that could have empowered and encouraged me in such a way that great success was the outcome. But in light of eternity, in light of the gravity of the fact that this life that we spend on earth is just a blink, it is just a moment, it's not even significant in light of eternity. When you step into eternity, the Bible tells us that looking back on our lives, we're going to realize that it was just a blink. It was just an insignificant flutter of time that we spent here. And if every bit of the crushing was necessary to utilize the gifts and the abilities that God gave me in a way that brings glory to him, bringing benefit and encouragement to others without leaving a path of wreckage behind me from my own haughtiness, judgmental attitude, condescending, mindset. I mean, it's like, what if? Because when I think about eternity, there's nothing more important. And so, yes, my heart longs for having friends and a support network, and I always wanted a formal education, and it just never was able to happen. But what I do have is a relationship with God that I'm starting to really recognize few people have. Like this is not like in anger or hate or anything, but what I realized is that most people who identify as Christian and this is from Todd White, something he said, people incorporate Jesus into their lives to some degree, but few people follow him and truly know him and are in relationship. And so, yeah, what if I had stood out on the driveway on a Wednesday night after dinner with my family and bounced the basketball and shot a few hoops? What if I had felt safe falling asleep? What if I'd gotten enough sleep and enough food to eat? And what if I had done very well in school, gone on to be an attorney or something of that nature? And what if I had been painting my whole life instead of just discovering it recently? I can go through all these what ifs. My answer to what if is I believe that God's plan is perfect, and I trust him with even the things I don't understand. He preserved me for something, and I do take joy in the sufferings. And let me tell you, it's been a process to get there because some of it is so incredibly painful. It's unspeakable. It's the kind of stuff that when you try to tell people what happened to you, it makes them uncomfortable. So it's better just to keep it inside and let them think whatever they're going to think. Because you know what? I did not come through it unscathed. I came through it with a strong relationship with God. And every therapist and every pastor that really understands my story says the same thing. It's a crazy, amazing miracle that I function as well as I do, and that I still have a beautiful heart. I still have such a loving heart towards people. So I can see how my surviving all of this stuff is not just faith building for me and something that consistently puts me in awe of the Father, but it's also a testimony to other people. And if even one person knows that God is real and that he loves them and that he wants to have actual relationship and that he does perform miracles today and he absolutely does healings and he does bring financial blessings from directions you don't even expect, and he absolutely does move mountains and part the waters and walk you across on dry land. If one person knows that they know that because they know my story or they saw some of it even from afar, then you know what? It is all worth it, and I do count it all as joy.